Perfect World, Mass Extinction, Prologue, Close to Paradise, June 12th, 2004, late morning. It was a fine sunny June afternoon at the Cabo Blanco Nature Reserve. The ocean waters gently crashed along the shorelines. At the Cabo Blanco Nature Reserve, the ocean waters gently crashed along the shorelines, and there was the occasional gentle ocean breeze, and in the distance could be seen the green mountainous hills and the vast, beautiful, almost ethereal, sub-equatorial and equatorial jungles, and the leaves of the trees and tropical vegetation in general along the coast gently swayed in the Pacific breeze. It was a rather warm and humid day on the beach, but the occasional sea breeze from the ocean gave some pleasure from the flustering tropical heat. And in the midst of this seemingly deserted coastline was a park for the explorer, which was rented by a rich British Parliament official named Brendan Taylor. He was with his wife, Sarah, and their 11-year-old daughter, Madison. Sarah told her daughter, "All right, Madison, just remember to not wander off too far. Please remember to not get lost." Madison assured, "It's fine, Mother. You have nothing to worry about." For immediately turning around and walking off, Sarah asked her husband, "Honey, do you think there's any venomous spiders or snakes, especially venomous ones in this area?" Brennan responded in a slightly irritated manner, "For goodness sake, there can't be any snakes or spiders on the beach. Just let her be for a moment. The school year just ended a couple of weeks ago. Please, let her be for just this moment." As Madison walked through the beach, she admired the beauty of the natural landscape, the size of the trees, the mountainous highlands, and the vast, almost enchanted ocean coastline seen from Costa Rica. Costa Rica was roughly the size of West Virginia, but had diverse climates, from tropical and subtropical jungles to lush swamps and bogs to volcanic mountain ranges in the center of the country. Madison also knew that Costa Rica had tons of natural diversity. In fact, the Cabo Blanco Nature Reserve had many wildlife species, from white-tailed deer, armadillos, leopards, sloths, anteaters, various types of New World monkeys like the howler, capuchin, and spider monkeys, coyotes, and much more. When then, Madison heard something rustling in the undergrowth, followed by a chirp. She just thought it was a bird, but wasn't quite sure which bird it was. She she could have sworn she saw a small, flightless bird-like creature leap in the jungle undergrowth a few feet away. Madison heard the chirping again, followed by more rustling in the bushes. Then she saw it jump out from the underbrush onto the beach. Madison asked herself, "Huh, I don't recognize you from that one nature book. What exactly are you?" The creature was small, about 3 feet or 36 inches tall, and had a snake-like body with a serpentine tail. The little reptilian creature had a long, relatively narrow, lizard-like skull, red eyes, bird-like legs, and three bird-like toes on each of its feet, but also a single row of simple, sharp teeth, and non-pronated, three-digit arms, and the reptile, whose covered in light gray feathers formed the outer edges of its wings and tan tail fin. And dark gray scaly skin on its face, underbelly, and legs. Madison questioned, "What are you exactly, though? Some kind of bird? Albeit I don't recognize what species you might be." Madison, realizing she might have accidentally found something, tried to get her parents' attention. "Hey, Mom, Dad, look what I found on the beach." She chuckled slightly, but then her joyfulness turned into confusion as another one of these reptiles hopped out this time. And although it looked very similar to its male counterparts, this other female reptile had much more saturated neutral color feathers, specifically a pale light gray color pattern, a tannish yellow underbelly, and a simple red crest. Madison's confusion grew as she said to herself, "Oh, looks like you have a friend." Then another one of these creatures emerged. Then another. Then another. Then another. Then there were about 20 of these reptiles, which were called Compsognathus longipus, or Compsognify. Madison's curiousness turned into confusion, which turned into a mix of horror and fear. The compies leapt upwards at her, trying to almost attack her. Meanwhile, during this whole time, Sarah asked Brendan, do you think I'm getting slightly overweight? Brendan responded in a slightly annoyed tone. Sarah, you're still as beautiful as the day I met you. I'm not slightly overweight anyways. And besides, please don't say any rude comments of fat people. They're still human beings. Then Brendan, as he was reading the newspaper he recently got, he lowered the newspaper quickly as he heard Madison screaming. Brendan exclaimed, Madison, is everything alright? Brendan then realized, oh no. He quickly lowered his newspaper and leaped up from his beach chair. Brendan yelled, Madison, we're on our way. Just, just, just stay in there for a few more seconds. Sarah also sprinted as fast as she could next to Brendan to find Madison, who was a bit further east. Sarah yelled, Madison Taylor, hang in there. Everything's going to be okay. They both heard Madison's screams get louder in horror and pure pain, as well as the aggressive chirping of the compies. Brendan called out, Madison, don't worry, hang in there, please. Sarah fell over on the ground, but Brendan still had to rush over. Sarah quickly got up. She heard Brendan. Oh my goodness, get away! Then Sarah continued to sprint over, and what she and her husband saw was horrific. Chapter 1 Paris. 1 month after Cabo Blanco, Charles de Gaulle International Airport, Paris, France. July 12th, 2004. Early evening. No, wait. Oh, yes. Sorry about that. It was Biosyn Genetics CEO Louis Dodgson. He was a balding man in his early to mid 40s, wearing khaki colored jeans, regular sunglasses, leather boots, a white business shirt. Boots of swiftness. Okay, back on topic. A white business shirt with no tie and a fedora, which had a feather. He was carrying a briefcase and was wandering around the busy halls of the airport. The airport was a large, sprawling, multi-building complex with sleek, contemporary technology, and in this part of the airport, Dodgson could see several major landing strips, with airplanes departed or just landing, with some large commercial airplanes being fueled or being taken to hangars to be stored until their next flight. Lewis could also see the rest of the exterior of the vast interior airport, with the control towers easily being seen. There could also be seen various terminal buildings, large parking lots in the far distance, large warehouses, and even the airport administration building, a few attached hotels, fuel farms, and various other buildings and facilities typical to a major international airport. But inside this part of the Charles de Gaulle Airport, several shops, restaurants, retail shops, restrooms, cafes, lounges, and even a small indoor golf course. Sweet. After a bit of wandering, Dodgson found the two people he was looking for. Two college graduates who were 22-year-old Esmeralda and Charles Laurent, dining at a local cafe before their flight. Both had rich brunette hair and light blue eyes, and the same heart-shaped face. Esmeralda noticed the Biosyn agent and remarked, Dodgson? Dodgson shook his head slightly in disbelief before heading and sitting at their table. Dodgson sighed before replying, Please, don't announce my name like that again. Esmeralda chuckled. We have Dodgson. Dodgson. It's Dodgson we have here in Paris. She then told the man in a slightly frustrated voice. See? Nobody cares. Charles jokingly grabbed the fedora hat and remarked, That's a cool hat. Are you trying to be disguised as an undercover agent? Dodgson grabbed the hat and put it on. He told the twins, Very funny. Now please, keep yourself under control. Please not to be jittery. Dodgson explained, "As I stated in that email, I'm Louis Dodgson, the current CEO of Biosim. That's an American multi-million bioengineering and pharmaceutical company. See, on this day, a month ago, in Costa Rica, the daughter of a British family at the Cabo Blanco Nature Reserve was attacked by a group of compies that escaped Masrani's island. The little girl was okay, and she recovered at the hospital in the small town of Punta Arenas. But her family, being rich, angry, and now in disbelief, sued the Masrani Foundation for about $26 million. Dodgson elaborated. Mr. Masrani over here now decided to start the program of college graduates called the Bright Youthful Minds Program to get college students to go to Isla Nublar to inspect the company's ecological reserve they were very secretive about. Dodgson handed the briefcase, which had 700,000 euros, and he continued, "Considering you both signed up for this Biosin mission, and you were accepted by Simon Masrani, we at Biosin decided to give you both 700,000 euros, or 819,245 US dollars for this mission, and as a reward, we will this these 700k euros alone for signing up for this operation. But once completed, you will get a total of 2.5 million euros once you get to 15 of the embryo species the Masrani Foundation has of now. 2.5 meg, the equivalent of 2,942,233. Oh, damn it. 2,492,237 US dollars. Dodgson concluded. Now, the embryos have to be back in San Jose, Costa Rica, so they can be brought back to Biosense headquarters in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dodgson asked. Also, do you remember what plan you guys proposed? Charles answered. No, Mr. Dodgson, we're well aware. The last week of July, Friday, around 9 p.m. at the island's west dock, the one where cargo equipment is used and imported from, not the larger, more maintained cargo and commercial South Dock. Charleston told the CEO. So, what do we use to store the embryos if I'm being caught by airport security? Dodgson grabbed the Barbasol shaving can from his pocket and briefly explained, "This is a modified Barbasol shaving cream can. All we have to do is gently unscrew the bottom." Then there was a clink. Dodgson told the Laurent twins. "Here, in these individual cylinder pockets, you can store the embryos. Now please remember, there is enough coolant for the next 2 weeks." Dodgson Gray gave Esmeralda the can of shaving cream, and she responded, "Don't worry, Mr. Dodgson, because me and my brother can assure you that this seemingly innocent shaving cream can will give you and your company years in advance of research for millions of dollars." Chapter 2. Claire, Los Angeles, California, July 17th, 2004, noon. Claire Deering was a 19-year-old who had just finished her sophomore year at the University of California. She was a bright, intelligent, and somewhat open-minded person, with long, soft, ginger brunette hair, brown eyes, a slender body, and a shy face. Claire also had brunette-like brown eyes, and she seemed rather physically strong for her age. Her older sister, 24-year-old Karen, was visiting her condominium. Claire's condominium had a modern, minimalistic interior look, a dining room with an almost Middle Eastern look, a home office, a master bedroom, and various furniture items with a modern, contemporary design. Karen asked, "So, how was your second year at the university?" Claire responded, "It was pretty decent overall. I had some ups and downs, but I managed to pass Professor Jameson's honors world history class, which is something I appreciate." Karen then proceeded to ask, "So, how's your job search going so far?" Claire told her sister, "Well, I've tried to apply for over 4 law firm agencies. However, I was given a great offer, which you have to hear." Karen asked, "I got an invitation from an entrepreneur and businessman named Simon Masrani and his company, InGen. They invited me for their Bright Youthful Minds program, an, in, an internship program at this private island. But of course, this isn't what you might think, Claire continued. You see, he planned for a group of 4 college students to go to a place called Isla Nublar, a private island his company bought from the Costa Rican government. This was so he could build a luxury resort on the island. His company, the International Genetic Technologies, or INGEN for short, had supposedly had a few construction accidents building this resort, the resort, and indirectly an incident on the Costa Rican mainland. Ah, crap. So he wanted to get a group of college student interns to look at what would be a part of a resort for its grand opening. In fact, this resort is almost fully finished and fully functional in most areas. Karen didn't request it. If you still have it, may I see the papers? I would assume this engine corporation sent you. Claire said, "Why, of course." She then went over to a cabinet and brought out an envelope and another piece of paper. Claire then spoke to Karen. "But just so you know, Mr. Masrani sent me a map of the resort. Yet even then, I still don't understand yet." Claire then showed a map of Masrani's Isla Nublar to Karen, and Karen became just as perplexed as her sister. The envelope said, "Engine construction secrets. Do not copy." It contained a detailed list of blueprints of what would have been some of the resort facilities, as well as the people at Engine who helped out, as well as a map of Isla Nublar, which was rather interesting to say the least. Nublar was a rather large, inverted, tear-shaped island, and was 30 square miles in size, and was rather wide, especially to the north, and getting more narrow slightly as the island curved south. Isla Nublar was stated to be 120 miles west of Costa Rica, but what was truly perplexing was the sites of Ingen's resorts. There was a medium-large district to the southeastern part of the island called Main Street, and several nearby businesses, presumably shops, stores, restaurants, and other tourist businesses for the resort. But the only other odd buildings labeled was a sleek charcoal brown contemporary pyramidal building, pyramidal building called Innovation Center, as well as a series of large, sleek, rectangular hotel structures, buildings called Safari Lodge, with a swimming pool and a tennis court. Just south was a small lodge-like structure called Masrani Residence. This main hub area inland was a large perimeter fence, and there was 6 more districts of sections, with the 2 largest being to the south and the east of the resorts. These 2 had robust electrical perimeter fencing. There were even a series of monorail train tracks and monorail stations scattered across these 6 districts. The only other district name was a place called Restricted Area, and this area didn't even have a perimeter fence in. Just south didn't even have any perimeter fencing, south of the perimeter fencing, which ends there. And in every district except the visitors area had a small structure that resembled a World War II era Nazi pillbox called Maintenance Shed. And just south of Isla Nublar's restricted area was a slightly different building called the East Garage. Karen asked herself, "What the hell is this?" She then asked Claire, "Are you sure this is a tropical resort? Not some kind of amusement park or a zoo?" Claire responded in a slightly skeptical manner. Well, it was also specified in the letter that this resort was also to be a biological reserve. I have no idea what that means, but from this personal letter from Mr. Masrani, it went as far as to say this ecological reserve would, and I quote, "make SeaWorld and the San Diego Zoo seem like a children's zoo." Karen asked, "So, have you accepted this invitation to Masrani's resort?" Claire responded, I already accepted this invitation, as this internship could possibly help me get into a law firm school. Asian even said that they already booked my own first class flight to get to San Jose, Costa Rica. Claire asked, so can you please give me a ride there around 6 a.m. on Thursday, July 25th? Karen responded, of course, even for my younger sister. Chapter 3 Justin Crichton Amber Mines, near Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, July 19th, 2004, early afternoon. The amber mine was in a large, flat, prairie-like taiga grassland, surrounded on three sides from Edmonton were large, deciduous forests, with the prairies wood ends. The ground seemed rather flat, with only a tree for a small grove of trees scattered sporadically. There were ferns, bushes, and tall, vast patches of elephant grass. In the Canadian prairies was the Crichton Amber Mines. Near the Amber Mines was the mining camp, which was more of a small town. The mining camp had several houses and cabins, as well as a warehouse storage, emergency response facilities, a general store, a bar, a saloon, cafe, security stations and management housing, and offices, and a few administrative buildings. The main mining site had excavation vehicles and equipment, processing plants, warehouse storage, proper supported structures, maintenance services, backed up electrical infrastructure, underground structures, and more. It was a rather cloudy, wet, and moist day at the Crichton Amber Mines, and present at the mines was an African American, 23-year-old Justin Williams, who was wearing black business pants, red business shirt, and an unbuttoned dark blue business jacket. He was meeting the leading mine supervisor, the mine's current proprietor. Damn it, don't know how to say it. James Mason, a man in his 50s who was wearing a construction helmet, a pale blue button-up shirt, dark red tie, and a construction vest. Justin greeted. Mr. Mason, I'm Justin Williams. I'm a newly recruited Indian agent. Mason told Justin, well then, it's good to see you, Mr. Williams. The proprietor asked, so, are you part of Simon Masrani's Bright Youthful Minds program? Justin replied, well, not quite. You see, I was hired by the Indian Corporation and its parent company, the Masrani Global Foundation, about a year ago. However, I was fresh out of college, so Masrani allowed me to be part of his internship program for a short while to review his ecological reserve. As the two walked through the mining site, Mason asked, so, how is Indian's zoological reserve going so far? Justin answered, the park has been in production for the past 9 years, and even some South Korean investors are really interested. However, I myself have yet to visit the islands, but I will by the start of the last week of July. Mason joked. Too bad I can't visit Masrani's private island as of now. The weather is as grim as it is here in the Canadian prairies, after all. Justin chuckled before explaining. You see, Mr. Masrani has put most of his interest to amber mines in more colder areas, like here, Wyoming and the Baltic countries. He does have some interest in amber mines in places like the Dominican Republic. However, Masrani doesn't generally want amber from places along the equator, as according to his research, genetic data is better preserved in amber. Justin then told the man, in fact, Injun has one of the largest amber collections in the world as of now. Mason asked, well then, do you know who are the other members of this program are so far? Mason responded, the other people involved other than me are Claire Deeren and two twins, Charles Laurent and Esmeralda Laurent as of now. Justin followed Mason into the mines, and Justin stated, see, once the amber is collected, the amber is transported to the company's American headquarters in Palo Alto, California, or their Indian headquarters in I'm gonna butcher this, Chennai, India. Chenai. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry for all the Hindi speaking viewers. Sorry. Okay, I apologize to all my Hindi speaking viewers. Sorry if I butcher that. Chennai. Chennai. Or it's directly taken to Isla Nublar for further and proper research analysis or synthesization. See, Masrani only wants amber with trapped mosquitoes, not amber say plant life, spiders or scorpions, other insects like beetles, ants or small vertebrates in general like small lizards. The interior mines had actually stable structures and were rather well lit. As Mason led Justin deeper into the Crichton Amber mines, Mason then said, "Suppose when you visit the Crichton Amber mines, you should tell me all about your trip to the park when you get a chance, so you can explain what your trip was like." Mason then paused for a few seconds before responding. "Come to think of it, why did Maserati decide to host an inspection of his own accord? He hates inspections. For him, they slow everything down." Justin responded, "Well, there was an incident that happened earlier last month of an American girl on the Costa Rican beach attacked by a group of escaped assets. There was also a handful of construction accidents that occurred earlier this year, as well as the unfortunate mauling of a construction worker." Justin continued, "This has raised serious health and safety risks to the park, and even some of the South Korean investors are considering whether they should drop out of the project." Before Mason could say anything, it was handed by another miner. It was an amber piece. Mason chuckled to himself before showing the amber specimen to Justin. Mason then told Justin, "Masrani might actually be a spiritual parallel to me, because like me, Masrani is a digger, an investor for rich profits." Mason then told a few nearby miners in French Canadian. God, why did I do this to myself? I think I'm gonna butcher this, but let me do my best try. He, he, Messieurs, regardes, ka. The workers rushed over. Mason said to himself in French Canadian, "Regarde comme il était belle."